TN sat down with Karen, Jennifer and Aaron, the public faces of Niteline, to talk about this vital service. So what is Niteline all about?
We're based on 4 pillars, which are anonymous, confidential, non-directive and non-judgmental.
Basically what we want is when callers ring us to feel completely safe in what they're telling us and to not be worried that it's the guy from down the road or like their roommate in halls, that it's not going to be a Facebook status the next day. We're not going to insist we know what they should do better, because realistically we don't. We're getting a snapshot of their lives 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours at the ultra max. So we don't really know what's going on with them, we just know what they're telling us. So we want to really create a space where they can just tell us whatever they want, feel safe, and when they hang up the phone, then to know it's over.
Why is Niteline so secretive?
I think it's really important that the callers have a very safe space to talk, and that's why confidentiality is such a strict policy that we have.
I suppose it's just, I always think of a kind of butterfly effect, where we have to be kind of secretive in who we are, because if someone finds out that you're in the service in Niteline, and then they may not call, and then that can spread from person to person, and that just kind of ripples through all the student population, as in it might reduce people that might feel comfortable calling us. So it does have to be secretive, but it goes back to our pillars in terms of confidentiality and anonymity.
The word secrecy is, can come across as a bit negative, but the main thing we do it for is so that it's for the caller, that they can feel, completely comfortable in what they're doing and not. It's something we regularly get asked on a call, it is just between us, am I safe saying this, is this definitely confidential? And the secrecy, being able for us now to tell them that it's completely secret or it's completely confidential between us, it can just reinforce what we tell them online.
What really influences people to volunteer for Niteline?
I think it's more so people who would have a connection to mental health in general, that would be very passionate about helping in any way they can.
When I joined, I think I knew I had a wanted to call when I was kind of having trouble switching course when I started college. I think if I had called actually and really talked about it, I would have been worried that I would have met the person who took the call. But then it definitely might happen that people who have a connection to the service want to, but as Karen was saying, that it is people who just, regular comment we get is they want to give back, whether they've gotten help from counselling services, their tutor, their friends, they want to give back to the community by picking up that phone and making sure that someone out there who might not have the support network that they did, that they have someone to call.
Is there a sense of community spirit amongst the volunteers at Niteline?
When they're stressed out with calls or with college or something related to the service, they can't go and vent to their friends or their parents as they usually do. So during training, we have a huge emphasis on getting their training groups to bond. When those training groups come into the Niteline, we have a training weekend, which is like an intense kind of 2-day training course in about February. And we have a buddy system for all the volunteers to mentor new volunteers. So all this, it's really conducive to having a relaxed atmosphere and an open, genuine atmosphere that people can discuss. A call that went a bit, they were feeling a bit nervous after it. There was a lot of heavy material there. Did I do this right? If anything does get too much for volunteers, we have more professional avenues like the counsellors and the colleges who agree to see us. But the sense of community is massive. It's necessary, but also I think if you get a group who all join a service, now I know we're public faces, who all join a service that they can talk about, they're doing it for something, for some quality they have. So when you get a big group like that together, there's got to be a natural connection there.
How do the volunteers deal with the difficult phone calls?
There's a lot of support there when you're on the phones. There's a lot of support there with you. So we would always kind of, for want of a better word, debrief each other, talk through stuff afterwards. And then obviously if something's affecting you later on, you would talk about it with someone else within Niteline. And again, you always know that the counsellors are there if you're in a crisis yourself after taking a call. You always have that option.
Yeah, it's definitely optional, in the room, just discuss the emotions you felt with that particular call, and even simple things like if people notice that you might be having a difficult call, they'll get you water, they'll offer you a cup of tea. community, like they'll look out for you to make sure that you're okay. And we have, obviously within ourselves as coordinators and within training as well, we always emphasise if something is really affecting you, just call us. We're always involved with volunteers.
Yeah, volunteer welfare is really, really important too.
We are dealing with very difficult issues a lot of the time, like, so it's just really important to have this structure in place.
What's the biggest mental health issue we're dealing with in Ireland at the moment?
An article recently, Oisin McKenna,
Yeah.
who himself, he's struggled with mental health, and I kind of feel his article really hit the nail on the head on broadsheet.ie there, just talking about how, you know, it's great to be getting people to talk and, you know, raising awareness and taking down the stigma and that kind of thing, but there's lacking in services in Ireland at the moment.
There's been massive campaigns in the last few years that are working stigma reduction, please talk and see change, Green River One. There's so many different things that are being done, and they're absolutely fantastic, but there is still a stigma in our society, and I think with a lot of mental health issues, people still view it as something that's quite secretive, and it is difficult to talk about because it's quite a secret thing. You're trying to project a face of normality, I feel, almost when you are going through a tough period. So I think continuing with those kind of campaigns, reducing stigma, getting people talking, and then maybe at higher levels, like government levels, implementing some kind of change in funding. Because I think funding is continually being cut in mental health services, and given the issues that we have in Ireland with mental health, we need to refocus on that.
Yeah, there just needs to be nearly strategies put in place. I mean, if you break a leg, you get a cast, you get physio, you get all that kind of stuff. There's a path set out for you, and I think with mental health there isn't anything like that. There's no trajectory really.
Yeah, and then people feel that having a problem, a mental health issue, anything, can be a sign of weakness. It's a personal flaw, and they might be embarrassed and feel ashamed to go and tackle it. And as you said, those initiatives are really reducing that shame, that stigma.
What really needs to be done in dealing with mental health issues in Ireland?
There's a huge discontinuity between someone who wants to ring up and talk about what they're going through, and then, you know, let's say they're on a call with us and they realise that, yeah, maybe I should go talk to someone. There's a massive disjunct there because you're looking at, oh, is it financially feasible? Am I able to? And yeah, that article really did hit on the head in that sometimes it's not, you're not able to. Trinity has the health service in Trinity, from being a student here, with the free health, with the free GP is phenomenal. Being able to do that, and the counselling services are fantastic, and they do provide such a great support for students. But I think then when you kind of graduate, you realise the cost of everything. So I think that does play a huge role, as a lot of the stigma and shame. I think that Karen kind of touched on there.
And how can people get in touch with you guys at Niteline?
So if you've any questions at all, you can email info@niteline.org, and then visit our website as well, niteline.ie.
We have two ways that callers can actually contact us. I think the most broadly known would be that people give us a phone call, which is obviously when we started off, and that was our main. But we've actually it started in 2012.
Yeah.
November 2012, we opened our online listing service, which is an instant messaging service, because we feel just within the population that we're reaching, college students, accessing someone through a computer and Facebook messaging that we're so used to and accustomed to. So online listening has actually been massively successful since we launched it, and continues to grow exponentially year on year.
Yeah, but then our phone line is still there, and we're open 7 nights a week from 9 to half 2. 1-800-793-793. Want to give us a chat? That's the main thing we're there for. Even if there's nothing huge, even if you're not in crisis, we're there for a chat as well, to have a vent, to just shoot breeze. So yeah, and we're free phone.